Silence. Few dare to allow uninterrupted silence to exist for more than what is absolutely necessary in their life. But why is it that we have such a distaste for such an experience? In the midst of silence, we are captive to our own thoughts. We feel a sense of vulnerability, knowing that we can be confronted on any aspect of our lives, either by ourselves or by God. Many of us like to live loud lives because it serves as a barrier or escape from our own lives, actions, decisions, or feelings. If we even for a mere moment dwell in uninterrupted silence, we may very well encounter that which we are trying to avoid. For others, we are so immersed in this lifestyle of distraction that we are not keenly aware if we are avoiding or if there is a greater motive in letting ourselves be distracted. Whether you identify with one or both of these groups, I think it's important that we understand the impact that this kind of constant noise has on not only us, but our relationship with God. We live lives immersed in noise, distractions, with little time to take a step back and take a breath and hear the words of our Heavenly Father. We've grown content with this ringing in our ears, but this noise is not serving us well. We need to stop trying to listen to God while still letting this noise rule our lives. We must learn to listen in silence. Earlier, I equated silence with vulnerability, and in the same way, when we are quiet, we are left to our vulnerability and our need, and are left exposed in some manner. And because we are exposed in this way, because of this silence that we dwell in, it forces us to be humble. It humbles us. But why does it humble us? It humbles us because without all the noise and distractions, we're left with just us. And when we look into our own hearts, we see that everything isn't great, everything isn't perfect. We see our faults, we see the areas where we have been avoiding thinking about, the areas of struggle, the areas of difficulty, the areas of sin, and we are humbled before our Heavenly Father. Not only that, but this silence serves us well. It talks about in James 1, "My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry." Few have the tendency to be good listeners. Regardless, God calls us all to be good listeners. But we neglect this quite a bit because we are distracted by all the noise and distraction in our lives. Silence and humility go hand in hand. When we are silent, then we allow God to tell us and give Him the venue of really bringing to our attention the areas that we need to do better in and the areas that aren't going right. It humbles us, and we can hear what God needs to tell us and wants to tell us, as opposed to blocking it out with all the noise. So often, pride takes a hold of us. We'd rather not listen to anyone. We don't want to listen to what anyone else says, and to a degree that's praised in our culture. Do your own thing. Don't listen to what anybody else has to say. Don't listen to what God has to say. You do you. But at the end of the day, when we're left to do what we want to do, that's not growing us in any manner, and it's certainly not living out the call that God's given us. By allowing this silence to permeate our lives, we really create an opportunity for God to speak to us, not necessarily verbally, but through His Word, through the people around us, and we're able to see things that we might have missed. We become more self-aware because of this silence, as opposed to being oblivious to the world around us because of the noise that seems to rule our lives so often. But we let the pride take hold of us and we tune God out because we don't want to listen to Him. Or maybe we feel discontent with our lives and seek distraction and noise as an escape. In both of those situations, we make the decision that makes us feel more powerful. We can escape if we want. We can tune God out if we want. We can live as if we're not accountable to anyone. However, sooner or later, God catches up with us. And in fact, He was never behind. But perhaps He was just waiting for a moment of silence. My encouragement to you this week is this: humble yourself before your Creator. Take time to dwell in silence. Be attentive to what God would like to say to you or show you. Life can seem so complex when noise and distractions rule the day, but in sweet moments of silence, God has a way of bringing comfort and clarity to the soul.